Okay, let's go.
So, what if I told you that the best, most profitable traders in the world, they're not actually focused on winning? I know, it sounds nuts, but they've become absolute masters at the one thing every beginner is terrified of: losing. Let's really dig into this because it's a paradox that, once you get it, can totally change your entire game in the markets. Just let that one sink in for a second. It flies in the face of everything we're ever taught, right? But this single, counterintuitive idea, well, it's the key to finding consistency and keeping your head straight in one of the most psychologically brutal professions on the planet. You know, before most of us ever place our first trade, we're sold this huge lie. The lie is that if you just find that one perfect strategy, you'll win. And what that really does is it whispers this dangerous message in your ear that if you lose, it's a personal failure, that you did something wrong. And that lie, that's what really blows up accounts.
Yeah, this need to win, it's like an addiction. It completely hijacks your trading, turning it into this battle for your own self-worth. Suddenly, every single loss feels like a personal attack, and it makes you chase trades that aren't even there, just because you're desperate to feel right again. We're going to follow the journey of a trader named Tom Huggard, who learned this lesson in the most painful way possible.
$127,000 in a single day. This was the number that finally broke the spell for him. And here's the kicker. This loss didn't happen because he was being reckless. Nope. It happened because he was actually right about the market's direction, but he was just wrong on the timing. The market gapped down at the open and just, poof, wiped him out instantly. It was the ultimate, brutal lesson that the market doesn't care how right you think you are.
And this quote from a poker pro just nails it. This is the mindset shift you have to make. It's not about trying to win every hand. It's about mastering the art of folding. It's about changing how you see a loss. It's not a failure of your ego anymore. It's just a simple, manageable cost of doing business. It's a skill, and you can get good at it. But, okay, why is this so hard? Well, the reason is actually biological. See, you're not just fighting the market. You're fighting your own brain, an ancient brain that's wired for survival, and it sees all that market uncertainty as a literal life-or-death threat. Just look at this. This is data from an experiment Tom ran on himself. A winning trade, his heart rate barely budged. But a losing trade, it more than doubled, 138 beats per minute. His body literally thought a tiger was chasing him. Now you try making a clear, rational decision when you're in full-on panic mode. It's basically impossible. Tom's first really big loss was for $23,000, and it happened in just a few minutes. That single event created what he calls a trauma flinch. For years after that, whenever the market got choppy, his hand would literally, not metaphorically, start shaking on the mouse. He actually had to switch to using keyboard shortcuts because his body was having a physical trauma response to the stress. So to figure this out, Tom did something kind of crazy. He started recording his own face while he was trading, and he discovered this totally predictable four-stage pattern of fear. First, denial. It'll come back. Then anger. This stupid market is wrong. Then bargaining. Please just get me back to break even. And finally, panic, where you dump the trade at the absolute worst possible price. Fear isn't just a feeling. It's a process that takes over and almost always leads to a terrible decision. So if your own brain is the enemy, how in the world do you fight back? Well, the answer is pretty radical. You don't try to avoid loss. You practice it. You build up psychological muscle by actually metabolizing the very thing you're scared of. You decide to become a professional loser. Tom came up with this brilliant, simple trick to break the emotional spell. Whenever he felt that pressure building, he'd literally stand up and say out loud, "I'm about to do something stupid." I mean, it sounds silly, but it worked. His neighbors even called the police on him once after hearing him yell, "Don't do it, Tom," at 3 in the morning. But that 1-minute pause, where he'd ask himself these 3 simple questions, it saved him from countless stupid emotional trades. Now, the most destructive pattern of them all is revenge trading. It always starts with a small loss that just feels personal. Your logical brain just shuts off, and pure anger takes the wheel. So what do? You ditch your system, you triple your size, and you turn a small, manageable loss into a catastrophic one. To fight this, Tom created a wall of shame. He printed out screenshots of his absolute worst revenge trades and taped them right above his monitors. A constant, ugly reminder of what happens when your emotions get hijacked. He even took it a step further with something he called loss therapy. Every single week, he would open a tiny $500 account with the sole purpose of losing it, deliberately. The goal was just to get his nervous system used to the feeling of being wrong. And the results? I mean, look at this. They were incredible. His recovery time went from days to minutes, the emotional pain dropped dramatically, and the chance he'd go on a revenge trading rampage, it basically vanished.
And this right here became his new mantra. This is what redefined the entire game for him. The real victory isn't a winning trade. It's sticking to your process with discipline and composure, no matter what the P&L says. That is the true win.
Now, this whole journey from gambler to pro, it isn't random. Tom discovered that pretty much every trader goes through this same developmental path, with these really predictable and often very, very painful stages of growth.
So phase 1 is basically trading puberty. It's all about intense emotions and excitement. Phase 2, well, that's the dark night of the soul. This is where most people quit. It's when the market just breaks you and you have to face the ugly truth that maybe you're just a gambler. But if you can survive that, you get to phase 3, the boring beautiful. I love that name. It's where the excitement is gone and it's all just about quiet, detached, professional execution.
So, the key to getting to that final, beautiful phase is what Tom calls the identity detox. You have to surgically remove the connection between your trading results and your own sense of self-worth. You are not your P&L.
And here are some brilliantly simple ways to actually do it. Change your passwords from something like Winning 2025 to Process, not Profit. Talk about your trades like a scientist. The system is in a drawdown, not I'm losing money. Stop flexing on social media. These tiny little shifts start to rewire your brain to stop tying your ego to every little tick of the market.
Okay, so we've walked through the psychology, the biology, the whole strategy for mastering how to lose. Now the spotlight turns to you. Because this is really the only question that matters in the end. When your plan is being tested, when your emotions are boiling over, when that primal fear is screaming at you to just throw your discipline out the window, who are you going to be in that moment?
So here is your challenge. Just for 1 week, make this your reality. Get a sticky note. Write down, I am not my P&L. I am my process. Put it on your monitor. And for 1 week, your only measure of success is not how much money you made or lost. It's just one question. Did I follow my rules? That's it.
This is the profound lesson Tom finally learned after a record-breaking 23-trade losing streak. He finally just surrendered. He realized his job wasn't to be a psychic, it wasn't to be right, his only job was to show up every day and execute his system. The suffering never came from the losses themselves, it came from fighting them. Loss is inevitable. Suffering, that's a choice. And that brings us right back to the beautiful final paradox. The less you care about winning, the more you actually win. When you stop fighting reality and you focus only on what you can control, your own actions, you create the very space that allows success to happen. So, what do you say? Ready to join the club?